This is part 2. Last video I brought the block up. This video we're going to form it, I'm going to pour it, and I'm going to come back and paint the plaster and do the sides. Here we go. We're back a few days later. We're filling this in. It all kind of jumped like this. That's what I'm doing now. The carpenter's going to put a ledge around the side. First, even with the top, right?
All right, you want to keep it up high? Well, he wants a 1/2 inch pitch, so
Okay.
you want to just we'll drop it down. Lucky guy. Drop that down for a minute.
Drop it down.
Yeah.
It's going good, huh?
Ready?
Good, right?
Good there?
That's it. That looks good. Use our concrete nails once in a while.
Fucking nail. Right. Right there.
We got our 3 boards going around. So we put this board right over here, and we got a little pitch to it, right?
I'll give you a 1/2 inch.
1/2 inch pitch.
Oh, look, Kip.
Good
Right.
to me. Yep.
Okay.
Now we do the 1/2 inch pitch here too, or what? How we
Yeah, I'll mark it out. This is 5 and an 8. 5. Right.
What's
Right
that?
there.
Right there.
I mean, you can see that. You know? 8.5.
Alright, so we gotta. So the water's gonna go this way. Okay, right there.
Good?
Yep.
Oh.
Let's look what's going on here. We got this filled with junk. Carpenter came out, he put a board here. We got this board here. We got a pitch from there to here. Now I filled that in. I'm gonna throw some sand in there. This is just plain old mason sand. And the reason I'm throwing that in there is to fill this all in. All those little voids. Like that. Let's fill in all those joints in. Well, now I'm going to get some plastic, black plastic, cover this. So I got the plastic down because I don't want the concrete. I don't want the concrete touching this. I don't want the concrete getting behind there. I want the concrete to float on top of the pad, and it can expand and contract and do what it wants. Because once concrete touches something, that's where you're going to get your cracks. So I'm using these red bags because it's fast drying cement, and it's 40 degrees out here. It's not really going to freeze tonight, but I want to get the job done. I'm going to put the water in. Start mixing it up. It's all pre-made. You don't have to add any sand or anything. Just put it in. Start mixing it up. about it. Pretty good. I'll just start throwing it in. You're gonna ask me, Mike, how come you don't use a cement mixer? By the time I go get the cement mixer and clean it and everything else, I can be done with the job. So, gotta get it up here. This is all gonna work out properly. As we put it in. Oh, put the plastic up against there. And usually, I get some water. I wet my forms up. That's gonna make it sit a little bit better. Just like that. I didn't bring my sprayer again. Then I don't want this plastic showing. So I'm gonna do it like this. Just like that. You gotta kind of go around the edges. Make sure the plastic ain't showing. Just like that. Up in here. Make sure you cover everything. Good. We'll get it in. We'll go around your corners and make sure you do a good job floating that in there. You don't need no air pockets. I mean, you're gonna get some anyway, but that's what you want to do first. Okay, looks like I need about a 1.5, 2 more. See where we're at with this. Starting to get hard already. That's a good thing. Let me get our edger. So like I said, I'm using my little edger here. Just going around the sides. I'm not going down with them, just floating it on top. I'm trying pretty quick. Just want to float it on top because I'm going to go over it again. This is the first time I'm doing this. All right, now, just for heck of it, I'll take my level because I want to make absolutely sure no water is going to lay on this. And I don't want any puddles. That's good. Got a little bit up there. If you have time, you can do this. Sometimes you don't have time. It's a good way to make sure the water is not going to lay on there. I don't have any holes underneath me. See that? Good. Now, yeah, it's a little harder now. And good enough to make my swirls in. Now, the old timers never used trowels. They used pieces of wood, 2x4s, for the trowels. So it doesn't matter what tool you use. I use my edger, and you can pick these up anywhere, any hardware store. And when you know your edges are good, just float right over the top of it like that. That's all. No big deal. Still a little wet, but we'll get it. I'm done. I'll let that set up. I'll cover it, and that's it. Come back in a couple days and take the forms off. So that's it for today. I'll come back in a couple days, take the forms off, and plaster it up. Now let's look what's going on. We took the forms off, but this is cold weather. I poured this when it was 45 degrees, and it didn't go below freezing, but when you took the forms off in the morning, some of the skin came off. So that's no big deal. We're going to patch it up, rub some cement in there. I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, if you remember, I got the plastic under here. Put the plastic out so that don't get in the way. So all I'm doing is getting some Portland cement. I'm going to mix it into like, not a paint, but like a paste. Just like this. For now. And just add a little water to it. Mix it up quick. Mixed up my slurry, and this is still wet. This concrete is still wet, so we don't have to wet it up. We're just filling in the holes. That's it. No big deal. See that? Covering up all those sins, as I call them. We're going to get a little bucket of water with a sponge. Just kind of go over the top of it. Hide all those sins. See that? Just flatten that all out. No big deal. You see a little spot? Get your rubber glove. Fill it in. No big deal. That's it. Continuing on, get that Portland, put it right in there, just like that. Hide all those sins. Come up from the bottom, like that. So we're going over it here too. Yeah, it hides all those sins, as I call it. Now let's talk about the foundation here. Remember, I put these blocks in, and then I plastered it. This is real thin, and this was real thick. Anytime you use traditional cement, mortar, Portland, if it dries slower, it's going to be darker. If it dries faster, it's going to be lighter. So I want to kind of disguise that. So all I'm going to do is I get my sprayer. I'm going to wet this all up. I'm going to paint it with Portland, and that's going to hide all those sins. But first thing is you got to wet it good first. See how it's sucking in? Don't let them tell you that cement is waterproof. It's not. So we're going to make a good little, and make it wet here. See how it's sucking the water in? Gotta wait until it's sucked in pretty good. And then we're gonna take this, which I made into a paint, and paint it. And everything's gonna look the same. You see what I mean? You don't have to replaster it again. Just like that. No big deal. Now if you watched my previous video, block build up before porch steps, I explained how I always put a piece of shingle or black paper or something so that when this concrete moves, there's something to slide over. That's the way we've been doing it in Pennsylvania. My dad's been in business 70 years. We don't have a problem. If you have a real small area, it might not matter, but when you're getting over 6 feet, you're going to be getting cracks in your concrete. You're going to be getting cracks along your block line. And I have a playlist called Masonry Porches, Mike Haduck. I have other videos called How I Build a Concrete Porch with Deck Pans. I show you how I do it that way. Another video, How I Smooth Finished Concrete Part 1. And another one, Building a Stone Porch, Mike Haduck. And in those videos, I show the same techniques as I use here. So I hope you get something out of these videos. When I use that quickcrete concrete, if I was doing that outside, I'd throw a couple of shovels of Portland in it maybe, because I think it's a little too weak for Pennsylvania. Cold weather, I poured that when it was like 40 degrees. I like to go 3 days without it freezing. The utilities come in and they rip the sidewalks in. They'll pour it when it's 20 degrees, and sometimes they'll get away with it. So it all depends on the area you live in. I also have a site on Amazon. You'll see it in the About section where the tools I use for concrete, you could maybe purchase them. So thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next video.